Imagine waking up to the sound of howling winds, rain hammering against windows, and a sky that remains permanently dark. Days turn into weeks, but the storm never lets up. This isn't just another extreme weather event, this is the new reality. A superstorm that never ends, an unstoppable force reshaping life on Earth. For years, scientists have warned about the growing power of storms, but no one expected something like this. Climate change had already pushed hurricanes, typhoons, and cyclones to their limits, fueling stronger winds and heavier rains. Then, conditions aligned in a way that no one had ever seen before. A perfect storm formed, a system so large and intense that it became locked in place, endlessly feeding off the ocean's warmth and the atmosphere's moisture. At first, it seemed like a typical hurricane. Meteorologists tracked its path, governments issued warnings, and people prepared to evacuate. But days passed, and instead of weakening, the storm grew stronger. The eye of the storm, where calm conditions usually appear, disappeared entirely. Winds reached speeds never recorded before, tearing through cities with relentless force. The storm surge pushed inland, swallowing coastal towns whole. Air travel came to a halt, ships were lost at sea, roads vanished under floodwaters. Millions of people tried to flee, only to find themselves trapped. As highways turned into rivers and bridges collapsed under the strain, emergency response teams were overwhelmed. Power grids failed, plunging entire regions into darkness. Food supplies dwindled as stores ran out of essentials, and farms were left in ruins. As days turned into weeks, scientists realized something terrifying. This storm wasn't going away. It had become self-sustaining, locked in a feedback loop that kept it alive. The planet's rising temperatures had created the perfect conditions for a never-ending storm, and without a way to disrupt it, humanity faced a future where the weather was no longer just unpredictable, it was unstoppable. As the weeks stretched on, the superstorm became more than just a weather event. It became a force of nature that reshaped the planet. The atmosphere, now permanently unstable, continued feeding the storm with warm air and moisture. Scientists scrambled to understand why it wasn't dissipating, but every attempt to predict its end resulted in the same answer. There was no end. With no sunlight breaking through the thick storm clouds, temperatures dropped in some regions, while others experienced an unnatural humidity that made survival unbearable. Crops failed as floodwaters drowned entire farmlands. Areas that relied on seasonal rain patterns faced a new challenge: too much water, too fast. The constant deluge washed away topsoil, turning fertile land into useless swamplands. Without agriculture to sustain them, supply chains collapsed and food shortages turned into a global crisis. Coastal cities suffered the worst.